Classic Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end?
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class, the Muqasid of Tafsir, being taught and brought to you by Ustada Layla Nashiba. Please stay tuned, streaming on all major platforms, right here on channel Sunnahfollowers.
Yes, so today we're going to cover pages 126 through 129 of the book, the Meqasidic Tafsir. We're going to speak about the evolution of Tafsir, why Tafsir of the Quran began and when. And I want you guys to remember when we use the term Tafsir, this is an Arabic term. It refers to explanations of the Quran. Explanations of the Quran. So when you read a surah of the Quran, you want to know the explanation behind it, the meaning behind it. So that's what that term tafsir refers to. Meqasidic means the highest understanding, or the highest, the overall, the greatest explanation, okay, of that chapter or verse or whatever. And before I get into the history of why explanations of the Quran appeared and when, I have a quiz from the last time we met. I want to make sure you guys understand these principles that we went over the last time we met in this class. First question. Each chapter of the Quran has which of the following? Is it a theme? Is it a topic? Is it a subject matter? Or is it all of the above? We talked about this the last time we met in this class. Each chapter of the Quran has which of the following? A theme, a topic, a subject, or all of the above? Let's see who can get it right. And by the way, is my sound okay for you people in the Zoom room?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if we can get some answers.
I think it would be all of the above.
Okay, she says she believes it would be all of the above. Any other answers from YouTube or Facebook or Rumble? By the way, I'm here on Rumble too. Okay, Sister Akiz, she said all of the above. Brother Amir on Rumble said all of the above. Sister Sanat, welcome here, Sister Sanat on LinkedIn. She said all of the above too. MashaAllah, this is correct. Sister Layla, Aya, can you tell me why it's all of the above?
Because basically most of the Quran is Allah's words. Like
all of the Quran is his words.
Yeah, I mean, like he spoke because something has happened to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions. So he would be speaking about the situation they're in.
Okay, good job. That's a good answer. And also the easier answers, because these are all synonyms of the same word. A theme is another word for topic. Subject is another word for topic. Y'all see, I specialize in linguistics, the English linguistics, and also the analogical science. Now, these words are English words that are all, if I'm talking about a theme means a subject. That's just another name, another word for the word subject or a topic. If I ask you to give me a topic to talk about on Friday, it's the same as saying, give me a subject to talk about on Friday. It's the same as saying, can y'all think of a theme for me to speak about on Friday? So these are all synonyms of the same word, but I put them there just to try to get you guys to work your brain in English, in your language, to try to help you to better understand when you're reading books like this, because this book is written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. May Allah bless him and forgive him of his sins. Ameen. But he uses the United Kingdom English. When he edited this book is edited with the United Kingdom English, which is a lot different than American English, which is a lot different than Australian English too. So I'm trying to throw these different words in so you can become accustomed to your own language. So yes, her answer is correct. Each chapter of the Quran has its own theme or topic or subject matter. Good job, Sister Aya. What about this? The verses in a chapter of the Quran that do not relate to a topic or theme are verses of contradiction. In other words, those verses may contradict the topic or they may contradict whatever the theme is. Is that statement true or false? What do you guys think? The verses in a chapter of the Quran that do not relate to whatever the chapter's theme or topic is, those verses or sentences show contradiction to whatever the topic is. Is this statement true or false? What do you guys think? And we talked about this the other day, which was Monday. What do you think?
It's false.
She said it's false. Anybody disagree?
No, I agree. It's false.
Okay, mashallah, the people on Zoom say it's false. Okay, brother Amir on Rumble. Okay, good. He says it's false. Anybody on YouTube? They all agree with them too. Okay, mashallah, you guys are all correct. We talked about this. Just because a sentence may pop up in a chapter does not mean that it's contradicting the topic. What does it mean instead? We talked about what that means. What does it mean? Can anybody tell me? If you're reading, for example, the chapter on women, Surah Nisa, okay, there are verses in Surah Nisa that don't relate to a woman and her rights or anything. So those verses don't contradict, and instead they may be verses of what? Why are they there? You might read it and say, wow, what does this verse have to do with this? Why is this verse here? What do we say? We don't say it's contradiction. Let me give a better example. I'm trying to give y'all, not give the answer away.
I'm making a connection.
No, that's why I said I'm gonna ask the question a little different. That can be an answer too, but let me reword this question. Let me read it. I'm just gonna have to give y'all an obvious example. Okay, we start off with we're gonna read a chapter of the Quran. It starts off, Alif Lam Mim. And you know that nobody knows what Alif Lam Mim means. Even in the Arabic language, those words are unknown. We don't know what that is. It's not even part of, it's just, what do we say? Do we say that Alif Lam Mim is contradicting whatever this chapter is about? Now can y'all answer? I basically gave the answer away. No, not that, Sister Fatima. Alif Lam Lam Mim. Women have rights that men don't have. Let's give an example. I'm going to do it in English, an example. You start off with a chapter. Aleph Lam Mim. Women have the right to their own home. They have a right to be fed and clothed. So I'm like, when you read a sentence like Aleph Lam Mim is a sentence. And you're like, what is this? What is this? Well, let's just take Aleph Lam Mim out because it contradicts what the rights of women are. Can we do that? Come on, guys. This is common sense. Think.
No, I would say that Aleph Lam Mim Ra is something that we don't understand, but it's in place, just like we probably don't. I want to see. Hold on.
You got it right. I basically gave y'all the answer.
We don't know what it means, but it's wisdom behind it.
Right, there you go. Yes, there, Aleph Lam Mim. Don't nobody, there is no scholar or so-called mufti, sheikh, whatever, on this earth or this planet. Even our Prophet Muhammad couldn't tell you what Aleph Lam Mim means. This is knowledge only known by Allah. Only Allah knows what Aleph Lam Mim is. So we don't say that Aleph Lam Mim contradicts this topic. We say that this is a sentence of knowledge that only Allah knows. Right? Only Allah knows this. It does apply. How it applies, only He knows. So we're going to go ahead and include it. Aleph Lam Mim. Every woman has the right to do. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all get it now? I'm trying to do this in English. Do y'all get it? So you don't want to end up like a lot of the haters of Islam do. They'll read the words like Aleph Lam Mim or Lam Mim Ra, whatever, and say, oh, these are contradictions. No, they're not. They have meaning. It's just that we don't know what they mean. We don't know what Allah is saying, but He's saying something. And it's included. Is that clear? Am I making that clear to everybody?
Yeah.
Mina, is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want you guys to ever say that a verse in a Quran contradicts because you don't know the meaning of it, like a lot of these innovators are saying as we speak. Okay, and that was really a bad example, but you guys understood it in English. Okay, let's do it this way. How about this question? To understand the chapter of the Quran, you must read the chapter that came before that chapter and the one that came after that chapter. Is that statement true or false? We talked about this the last time we met too. To understand what this, if I'm going to read the chapter of the light, if I want to walk away understanding the topic and the meaning of this chapter, the Surah of Light, I have to read the chapter that comes before it and the chapter that comes after it in order to really get a good understanding. Is that statement true or false?
True.
Anybody disagree? Is everybody?
I think true too.
Okay, good job. Good job. This is true. And that's what we talked about yesterday, the last time we met. When you sisters are holding those Quran study groups, don't sit there and try to give your meaning, your opinion of what Allah is saying, because number one, you're not qualified. Number two, you have to know the meaning that came before it and the meaning that came after it too. Okay? Along with the other things like connectivity, how those verses connect to the hadiths and things like that. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today too. And was that the last question? Let's see. I think I got one more. Yeah, this is the last one. Last question. We also spoke about why the stories and the parables of the Quran are important. Who can tell me? There's a lot of answers for this. Why are the stories and parables of the Quran important for us? Why are they important? Why is it important to ponder the stories and the parables of the Quran? Can anybody tell us that? Give us an answer why? The children gave me some beautiful answers. I asked the kids this question on Sunday. Oh my God, they gave me some answers that blew my mind, including my baby Tahira. Let's see if her mama can do good. Mina, why are the stories and parables of the Quran important?
It's important because it's a history behind it. So, and it also is a lesson. So it's something that we need to ponder so we won't do the same thing.
Exactly. Also, Sabrina gave me one of the best answers. Is her mother in there? Is Sister Nadia in there? Is Nadia in the Zoom room? Did you come on, y'all? Do y'all see her? The name Nadia?
No, I don't see her.
Okay. Who else was here? What about Rockmo, your brother or your nephew Shuaib? Shuaib gave a beautiful reason as to why the stories and parables of the Quran are important. You want to contribute, Sister Rockma? Okay, Sister Akis says because exactly they show the mistakes. Good job, Sakina. By reading the stories, you are reading about what happened to the people that came before us. You are learning that what mistakes they made that brought about Allah's anger, that brought about Allah's punishment. You're also learning what things they did that caused Allah to be pleased with them and give some of them Jannah too. So we can learn from what they did, what happened with them. Also, you learn about what happened in the other prophets' lives too. You learn about the other best of this nation, like Moses and Jonah and Solomon and their people. And we can learn from that too. The parables, good job, Brother Amir. The parables teach us what not to do. What not to do. Allah will give us parables, as Brother Amir is saying, that we can relate to, that help us to not make bad choices in life. Good job. So the stories and parables of the Quran are very, very important. And by the way, the Quran is 1/3 stories, 1/3 Aqidah, and 1/3 Allah's laws and commands. The Quran consists of 3/3 of 3/3. So it's very important for us to benefit from the stories of the Quran. Okay, good job. So let's talk about it, how Tafsir came about. Let's put the PowerPoint up. The higher aim-based explanations of the Quran as a branch of accepted opinion did not begin until the opinion-based explanations emerged. I know that's a big word. This is an example as to how Sheikh Kareem, may Allah bless him, I know he uses a United Kingdom English. This doesn't make sense. I'm going to break it down to you. Although early interpretations of the Quran began mainly with hadiths from the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was no need for the companions to make tafsir books explaining anything. Y'all understand what I'm saying now? It's not that the companions didn't understand the meaning of the Quran. It's just that they didn't have a need for it. Okay, they knew what happened to cause Allah to send down the revelations. Okay, they also knew what happened because it was them, they who experienced the happenings. So in the period after the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, they set up different schools to help teach the Quran and explain it. Now, this is the history. Like I told you guys, you got to learn the history of Islam, and you guys should know that. Who knows who were the first three companions to set up schools? Well, here they are. Ibn Abbas, he became a scholar of the Quran, and he set up a school to explain the Quran to the people as Islam spread. Okay, y'all remember that? Who was the other two? Can anybody remember?
Aisha.
Yeah, Aisha was a scholar of the Quran too, and she set up a school too. But yeah, she did too. But who? Okay, who else besides Aisha? Besides Ibn Abbas, who else? Okay, the third one was Ibn Masud. Remember, Aisha used to always get into it with Ibn Masud. Ibn Masud, he had his own Quran school where he would, as Islam spread it through the Roman and the Persian Empire. Okay, and also another one we had in Medina was Ibn Ka'b. I want y'all to see this. Let me make this bigger so y'all can see. Let me try to take my picture, my video. Okay, can y'all see that better? So, the schools that explained the Quran were founded in Mecca by Ibn Abbas. You had Ibn Abbas in Mecca. Then you had in Medina, Ubay ibn Ka'b, and you guys should know him too. Mukhtar speaks about him a lot. And in Kufa, this is when the Muslims defeated the Persians. In Kufa, Ibn Masud set up a Quran school there. So there were three Quran schools in Kufa, Medina, and Mecca by the original companions. Ibn Abbas was Mecca, Ubay ibn Ka'b, Medina, and Ibn Masud was Kufa. You're going to hear about him more when Mukhtar speaks about how the Muslims took this Kufa, the city of Kufa. Okay. So that's what happened. So they didn't have a need for it to write a book of Tafsir, in the beginning, because the original companions were there to explain the Quran. And also there's the second generation of Muslims were there to explain the Quran. And then the third generation. So there was no need for it. So it was almost 300 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It wasn't until almost 300 years after the Prophet died that the first Tafsir explanation of the Quran appeared. Y'all understand that? So the companions were gone, and their successors and their successors. And they based everything on, what they knew the meaning to be, because they lived it, they experienced it. Okay, the first generations understood the meaning of the Quran because they witnessed it. And they used the Quran to treat and address all issues. So there was not a need or an interest to go around making a book based on opinions. Y'all understand that? Does that make sense? I'm trying to break this chapter down so y'all in plainer English you can understand. Okay? So those 300 years before it happened, there was no need for it, because you had the original companions and their students students who were teaching you the true meaning of the Quran based on how they lived to see it revealed and experienced. And they didn't want to deal with nobody's opinion. Why deal with opinion when you got, the facts? Okay. And also, I want everybody to understand something. The Quran is for all times. It never becomes outdated. These imams in Texas need to understand that. Why is all this fitna going on with these brothers in Texas? You know, Allah exposing them left and right because they think they can tweak Allah's laws and change Allah's laws. We don't tamper with Allah's laws. He's going to bring havoc on you. The Quran was meant to treat any contemporary issue of the day. You cannot say because this is 2024 and LGBTQ is legal, we can tweak the laws of Allah. No, no, no. No, no, no. Every generation after the prophet must generate understandings of the Quran and use that understanding to deal with whatever challenges or whatever issues exist during that time. And whatever understandings we have, they have to be referenced through the first generation of Muslims, not your own. And again, like I said today, there's a lot of fitna going on. Again, Texas is in the news. More molestation, more transgression. Right. So they had a meeting trying to set boundaries as to how to deal with LGBTQ instead of doing el-bara, distancing ourselves. And these same men, a couple of them that's in the trouble today, that's pretty well known. You know, they're one of the ones that was talking about tweaking the laws, Sharia, tweaking the laws, because this is a different time. This is a different era. There is nothing happening today that didn't happen then. They had LGBTQ back in the Prophet's times and the companions. They had alcohol abuse, drug abuse then too. They had murder going on. They had rape going on. The same issues that affect us today existed back then. So whatever issues we are faced with in our daily lives, we use the Quran as guidance. But whatever guidance we take from it should be in accordance to how the prophet said it should be with the understanding of those companions. And I hope this is clear. Am I making this clear to everyone? And hopefully this will give some of you sisters who know what I'm talking about that's going on, who are going through a rough time. Get that person off of my screen. Where's my moderators? Awa, are you in here? Okay, yeah, they don't want me to talk about it. Well, I'm going to talk about it. You can't censor Layla Nashiba. I told y'all yesterday, I got some strong blood in me. I'm not going to be censored by anyone. All right. So the higher aim explanation of the Quran, it didn't occur until 300 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the most famous of those works was the evidence-based tafsir of Ibn Jarir at-Tabari, who y'all hear me mention a lot, because sometimes I'll use his explanations. His explanation of the Quran became the framework and a primary source for several other explanations of the Quran. Okay. Also, when he came up with his explanation, so it doesn't fall into the category of changing the meaning or any of that, they use terms such as el-murad, which means the intended. So you will hear people say the intended meaning. How many of you have heard people give tafsir of the Quran or an explanation of the Quran and they'll say the intended meaning, or they'll say the most meaningful meaning, or the evidence of the meaning? Those terms were coined, with the arrival of the event of his tafsir, okay, and then the several others that came after it. Because again, we don't go around giving our opinion that may contradict what Allah said. So you will hear them say the intended meaning is this, or the most meaningful meaning is that, or the evidence for this meaning is such and such. Okay? And again, I want y'all to remember this didn't, the first tafsir didn't become widespread until 300 years after the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the term maqasid itself is known in the context of understanding the Quran deeper. For example, this is another tafsir book that emerged, Imam al-Ghazali's Jewels of the Quran. And it's still, you can still read it on the internet. It's in English. This is a copy of how it looks here because I have one of these. Okay. For example, if you read his tafsir, Jewels of the Quran, you'll come upon a verse like this one, where it's the explanation of a verse in the saying of Allah, and upon Allah is the responsibility to explain the straight path. You may hear another translation of this verse to mean, and upon Allah is the direction of the right way. The first example is a Quranic explanation given by Imam al-Ghazali. He gave the explanation that Allah is saying, and upon him is the responsibility to explain the straight path. Whereas someone else would say, and upon Allah is the direction of the right way. So again, guys, you know, this is how or when the Quran tafsir really took off and began. It was over 300 years after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and their successors. I mean, again, what do they need to, why would I need somebody to explain the Quran when I got the original companions here anyway? You know, I can go to Ibn Abbas, go to Ibn Masud, go to Qab, go to Aisha, radiallahu anha, to all of them. Salama. Yeah, Salama was a scholar of fiqh too. You know, there wasn't a need. Exactly. And remember, yeah, like the brother here just typed, Imam Malik. One of Imam Malik's teachers was Asma. Asma was one of Aisha's students. So what need was there when you could go to the student of Aisha and ask her, what is, you know, what is the meaning behind this? What happened for this to come about? Okay, good job, brother. Thanks for remembering that too. Okay, so that's where I'm going to stop today.